In today's video, we're covering massive transfer twists, shock omissions, and a potential title-winning signing that could leave Celtic choking in the dust. Skov Olsen's debut delayed, but the firepower keeps coming. Maswanhise is banging goals for fun and could be the key to blowing the title race wide open. Oliver Antman's Ibrox future hangs by a thread as Rohl reshuffles his wingers, and with Danny Rohl and Damir Redzic on the radar, plus a surprise swoop for Max Lowe, the rebuild is full steam ahead. Strap in, this isn't just transfer talk, it's a statement of war. You've waited patiently, but you'll need to wait a wee bit longer to see Andreas Skov Olsen in a Rangers shirt under the European lights. The Danish winger unveiled with a bit of flair at Ibrox before the 5-0 hammering of Annan Athletic in the Scottish Gas Cup won't be available for the Europa League clash against Ludogorets. Why? Because UEFA's red tape has tied our hands. Despite looking sharp and raring to go, Skov Olsen alongside Tochi Chukwani, who did make his debut at the weekend, and Tour Romans won't be registered for the European squad. There's a rule that allows changes if someone's injured, but sadly it doesn't apply to new arrivals. Daily Record's Andy Newport spilled the beans on Hotline Live, confirming that no swaps can be made to include these fresh faces. It's a sore one. Rangers sit dead last in the group with 1 point from 6 matches, so even if we wanted to change things, there's nay more European football after this week anyway. And while that chapter closes, the domestic fight is just heating up. Danny Rohl's looking to rally the troops for the title tilt. Eyes now turn fully to the league where the challenge is plain. Overhaul both Hearts and that mob across the city. But let's be honest, this squad still needs surgery. The striking department in particular looks as blunt as a butter knife. Despite Bojan Miovski rattling in a hat-trick against Annan, the reality is Rangers are crying out for a proper number 9. Youssef Chermiti hasn't convinced, and Danilo, rumoured to be on the chopping block, alongside Dowell, Matondo and Badrami. Rangers are generating nearly 16 shots a game, but missing nearly 2 big chances per match. That's title-losing stuff. A new striker could be the final piece of the puzzle, especially if Danilo's exit frees up space and wages. Here's the question: should Rangers cut their losses now and sell Danilo to make way for a clinical number 9? Or is it too soon to give up on the Brazilian project entirely? Now here's one that could change the entire landscape of this title race. Tawanda Maswanhise, a name you better get used to hearing if Danny Rohl has anything to say about it. The Motherwell forward has burst onto the scene this season like a firework over the Clyde, rattling in 15 goals across all competitions, with 10 of those coming in the league. Compare that to Rangers' current trio of misfiring forwards, Chermiti, Miovski and Danilo, who've managed just 9 league goals between them, and it's plain as day. The boy Maswanhise means business. At just 23, he's playing with the fearlessness of youth and the finishing of a seasoned pro, and you don't need to take my word for it. Brendan Rodgers, that Brendan, the one who slinked out of Parkhead in shame, had him under his wing at Leicester. Even back then, Rodgers saw something special: quick, direct, powerful, the full Scottish breakfast of attributes you want in a number 9. Motherwell, of course, are playing hardball. They're baffled by the links, apparently. But look, if Rangers want to walk this league, if they want to put the pressure on Hearts and finally put Celtic out of their misery, then signing Maswanhise might just be the masterstroke. He's already showing more cutting edge than anything we've seen up top in Govan this season. And let's not pretend the money would be wasted. If it takes £2 million, £3 million, even more, it's worth it if it means lifting silverware in May. Let me ask you this. If Brendan Rodgers saw Maswanhise's talent years ago and Rangers don't sign him now, would that be one of the biggest missed opportunities in recent Ibrox history? Just when you thought the door might be closing on Oliver Antman at Ibrox, Danny Rohl's gone and thrown it wide open again. Despite all the noise, rumors that he's surplus, whispers of a January exit, it turns out the Finnish winger still has a part to play in the Rangers' story this season. Yes, he missed the 5-0 demolition of Annan Athletic through illness, but that came hot on the heels of a leg injury that's already kept him on the fringes. And with both Andreas Skov Olsen and Tochi Chukwuani arriving as fresh firepower on the flanks, it looked like the writing was on the wall for Antman. But hold your horses, Rohl's not ready to pull the plug just yet. According to the latest from the Inside Track podcast, the boss still sees value in keeping Antman around, provided he can stay fit. It's no charity case. Rohl isn't in the business of carrying passengers, especially with the title race heating up and silverware in sight. He's banking on Antman proving his worth in the second half of the campaign. Now you might ask, isn't it a gamble? With wingers piling up at Ibrox and minutes hard to come by, how do you keep a player sharp and confident when he's on the outside looking in? Yet, Rohl believes Antman's been unlucky more than anything. The injuries, the timing, the squad rotations, it's all conspired against him. But this is his shot. One last charge to show he belongs. And let's be honest, depth is everything. If Rangers are serious about chasing down Hearts and fending off Celtic, they'll need every capable body available. So while Antman's place might not be guaranteed, his opportunity certainly is. And just a wee side note for you, those old whispers about Nathan Patterson making a grand return from Everton, forget them. It's not happening. Rohl's not in the market for a right back, especially with Tua Romans already through the door on the opposite flank. Nostalgia doesn't win titles, proper planning does. Here's the real talking point though. If Oliver Antman fails to break into the side by March, should Rangers cut their losses in the summer, or would that just be giving up on a player who's never truly been given a fair crack? With the window wide open and 3 new faces already through the door, Rangers are nowhere near done. Danny Rohl's January rebuild is still taking shape, and now attention turns to the midfield, with Sunderland's Dan Neil front and centre. The 24-year-old's out of favour down south and heading into the final 6 months of his deal, which means clubs are circling. FC Köln have shown their hand in the Bundesliga, but it's Rangers who could offer him something much more enticing. A title race, European football, and the chance to play for one of the biggest clubs on the island. Lee Clark, who knows a thing or two about the Scottish game, reckons the move makes sense. He's right. Scottish football might get mocked down south, but it only takes one trip to Ibrox on a European night to see how wrong they are. Neil's the kind of player who needs minutes, and he'd likely get them under Rohl, especially with that midfield still missing a bit of spark. Meanwhile, Rangers are keeping close tabs on Damir Redzic, a Hungarian winger, tearing it up in Slovakia. The 22-year-old's admitted there's interest, but he's keeping it cool, focusing on his performances until February. The fact he's already being so professional about it, that's a good sign. Redzic wouldn't just be a project. He looks ready to contribute right away, and it doesn't stop there. There's talk of a return to England with a potential swoop for Max Lowe. Rohl's looking at his former Sheffield Wednesday man, and though a January deal might be tricky, the groundwork's being laid for the summer. Lowe can cover the left or tuck into midfield, and with his contract winding down, Rangers could be primed to pounce without breaking the bank. So here's the bigger picture. Rohl isn't just plugging gaps, he's building something, a proper squad with depth, balance, and options. And if the board back him, if the likes of Neil and Redzic arrive and Lowe follows in the summer, you could be looking at a side ready to dominate Scottish football again. But that brings me to the kicker. If Rangers sign Dan Neil, does that signal the end for one of your current midfielders? And if so, who should be shown the door to make way for the new engine room? Like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe for daily Rangers news. Don't miss a thing.